I lost custody of my daughter a decade ago because of lies I couldn't disprove. Now she's back in my life. But the truth behind what really happened is darker than anyone could imagine. I can't stay silent anymore.
Welcome to Reddit Toxic Family Telltales channel. New episode every day.
10 years ago, I lost everything in a courtroom. Not because of some stranger, but because of the one person I trusted most in the world. My so-called best friend. Back then, my ex-wife and I were tearing each other apart in a custody battle over our daughter. Ugly doesn't even begin to describe it. Still, I never could have predicted the sucker punch waiting for me when I walked into that courtroom. The bailiff called a surprise witness, and when I saw him, my best friend since high school, I actually felt a sense of relief. I thought, finally, someone who'll tell the truth, someone who knows me. But then, he locked eyes with me, started crying, and spun a story so vile I thought I was dreaming. He told the judge I had rage episodes, that he once saw me violently shake my little girl. He pulled out doctored texts and twisted video clips, turning happy father-daughter moments into something sinister. My wife, my ex now, sat there acting like she was heartbroken, crocodile tears and all, as if his lies were gospel. And the judge? He looked at me like I was the devil himself. Even my lawyer, the guy who was supposed to defend me, looked at me like maybe it was true. That day, my world collapsed. I walked out of there stripped of everything. No visitation, no phone calls, nothing. My little girl was just gone. I remember stumbling out of court, barely able to breathe. Later that night, after too much whiskey, I called my friend to demand an explanation. You know what he did? He laughed, cold, smug. He said, "I've wanted your wife for years. You know how sick I get when I'm in love." Then she got on the phone. My ex, her voice dripping with poison. "He'll be a better father than you ever were. You'll never see her again." I begged. I sobbed into that phone like a broken man, asking them to tell me it was some cruel joke. But it wasn't. She twisted the knife deeper, admitting they'd been sleeping together for 2 years, planning every move to cut me out of my daughter's life. It was a staged betrayal from start to finish. I should have fought back right then, but I didn't. I ran. I packed up, moved states, and tried to start over. But I never stopped trying to reach my daughter. Every birthday, every Christmas, every milestone, I sent cards, letters, gifts. Nothing ever came back. My ex admitted she told my daughter lies. That I'd hurt her, that I was dangerous. The kind of lies a child believes when they come from their mother. And eventually, I started to lose hope. I thought maybe she'd never know the truth. But then, 10 years later, a phone call changed everything. The hospital from my old hometown. They said my daughter had been in a car accident, and my name was listed as her emergency contact. I froze. My name? After all this time? I didn't ask why. I just grabbed my keys and drove like my life depended on it. When I walked into that waiting room, there they were. My ex. My old best friend. They looked like they'd seen a ghost. My ex jumped up, whispering to the doctors like she was trying to block me out, leaving me face to face with him. At first, he pretended like he might apologize, voice all shaky, eyes watery. But no, he grinned. He admitted, bragged, that he never gave my daughter a single letter or gift I'd sent. He laughed about how he made her believe I abandoned her. Then, as if that wasn't vile enough, he put on this fake victim act. Kids are a lot of work, man. I'm not proud of it, but sometimes she needed a good wallop. Honestly, you should thank me. She's a mess. I'm letting you back in her life now. My blood ran cold. Every part of me wanted to put him through the nearest wall. But before I could, a soft, weak voice cut through the air. "Dad." I spun around. There she was. My daughter. My Lily. She was lying in a hospital bed, a bandage around her head, her arm in a cast. 16 years old now, but still with those same amber-flecked brown eyes that mirrored mine. Her hair spilled over her shoulders in waves, so much like her mother's before everything turned sour. I rushed to her side. Tears blurred my vision. I wanted to hold her, but I was terrified I'd hurt her fragile body. Just hearing her call me Dad, after 10 years, it nearly broke me in half. My ex swooped back in with a nurse, trying to wedge herself between us. But I stood firm. The hospital called me. I'm her father. My voice didn't even shake this time. Then came the question that froze the room. The nurse looked at Lily. "Who would you like to stay with you?" Denise snapped. "She's a minor," I decide. But Lily, with all the quiet strength of a teenager who'd been silenced too long, said, "I want my dad." The look on Denise and Russell's faces? Priceless. For once, the lies didn't win. The nurse ushered them out, leaving just me and Lily. We sat there, father and daughter, trying to bridge 10 lost years. She whispered, "They told me you didn't want me." My heart shattered all over again. I explained, through tears, that I'd thought of her every single day, that I'd sent cards and gifts that never reached her. She admitted she'd found some of those letters hidden in the attic, all of them opened, all of them lies. That's why she listed me as her emergency contact. She memorized my number from one of those letters. And then she told me the truth about Russell, about his temper, about the bruises. The doctors had already noticed, already written it down. I wanted to scream, but I kept my voice steady. I told her, "I believe you, and I'm not going anywhere this time." We talked for hours, about school, her dreams of studying design, her best friend who stood by her no matter what. I shared silly memories, like how she once wore rain boots on the hottest summer day, or tried to free every goldfish in a pet store because she thought they were sad. For the first time in a decade, it felt like we were just father and daughter again. But when I left her room that night, Russell was waiting in the hallway. He blocked me, sneering, "Nice reunion. Don't get used to it." I stared him down. "She found my letters. She knows the truth now." He smirked. "Prove it. Nobody believed you then. Nobody's gonna believe you now." But the flicker in his eyes gave him away. He was scared. And for the first time in 10 years, I wasn't. When I walked back into Lily's hospital room, there was someone new sitting by her bed. A young woman, maybe early 30s, professional but warm, with kind eyes behind her glasses. She stood, extended her hand. "Mr. Carter? I'm Amber Wilson, Child Protective Services. I'd like to talk with you both." My heart dropped. CPS. Even though I'd done nothing wrong. Just hearing those words made me feel like the walls were closing in. But I shook her hand anyway, trying to hide how nervous I was. Amber explained that the hospital had flagged concerns about Lily's home life, the bruises, the accident, some of the things she'd said to staff. Now CPS was doing a preliminary assessment. "Lily has shared some concerning information about her home environment," Amber said carefully. Then her eyes shifted to me. "I understand you haven't been in her life for some time?" I swallowed hard, glancing at Lily, who was watching me like my answer might change everything. "Not by choice," I said. "I lost custody when she was 6. Her mother and her husband kept her from me." Amber made a note on her tablet. "And now you're back in contact because of the accident?" "Yes," I said. "She put me as her emergency contact." I still couldn't believe she'd done that. Amber turned to Lily. "Is that true?" Lily nodded. "Last month, after I found his letters." Then came the hard questions about Russell's behavior, about what led up to the accident. Lily didn't hold back. She told Amber how Russell drank that night, how he'd screamed at her for not putting away dishes, how he drove too fast while she begged him to slow down, how he grabbed her arm until it bruised. Her voice was steady, but I could see her hands trembling. He turned to yell at me and didn't see the curve. We went off the road and hit a tree. Hearing it out loud made me want to be sick. My daughter could have died because of him. Amber asked me about my life now, job, living arrangements, stability. I told her the truth. IT specialist, stable job, a 2-bedroom apartment with a spare room ready for Lily. I may not have been part of her life, but I never stopped trying. Amber nodded, then said she'd need to speak with Denise, Mrs. Wilson now, and Russell too. For now, Lily would stay in the hospital under observation. After she left, I sat by Lily's bed. "You okay?" She nodded, but her voice was small. "What's going to happen now?" I sighed. "I don't know exactly, but I'm going to do everything I can to keep you safe." Her eyes watered. "Mom's going to be so mad. She hates when people know our private business." "This isn't about her," I said gently. "This is about you." We spent the afternoon watching trash TV, laughing at how bad it was and talking. She told me she loved photography. She had a tight-knit group of friends. She wanted to travel the world someday. Listening to her, it was like meeting my daughter for the first time, and recognizing her at the same time. But peace never lasts, does it? Around dinner, a nurse walked in, looking uneasy. "Mr. Carter, her mother and stepfather are here. They'd like to see her." Lily's whole body tensed. "I don't want to see them," she said firmly. The nurse looked conflicted. "They are her legal guardians." I stood. "I'll go talk to them. Don't worry, you won't be alone." Lily grabbed my hand, terrified. "Don't leave me with them." "I won't," I promised. In the waiting room, Denise and Russell were already posturing. Russell wore a neck brace and a bandage on his forehead. Small victories of karma, I thought, then instantly felt guilty. "We want to see our daughter." Denise snapped the moment she saw me. "She doesn't want to see you right now," I said calmly. Russell limped forward, grimacing. "You don't get to decide that. We're her parents." "I'm her parent too," I shot back. "And she asked not to see you." Denise's face twisted. "You disappear for 10 years and suddenly you're father of the year?" "I didn't disappear," I said. "I was erased. And she's here because Russell drove drunk with her in the car." Russell's face darkened. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Actually, I do. Lily told me. She told the doctors. She told the social worker. That made them freeze." Denise's eyes went wide. "What social worker?" "From CPS?" I said, folding my arms. "Apparently they don't think bruises on a kid's arms just happen." Russell's jaw clenched. "You called CPS on us, you?" "I didn't call anyone. The hospital did. Standard procedure when abuse is suspected." Denise grabbed his arm, whispering frantic excuses. "Lily's clumsy. Always has been." "That's not what she says. And I believe her." Russell jabbed a finger into my chest. "You think anyone's going to believe you? After what you did? We've got court records." "You mean the lies you told to steal her from me?" I shot back. A nurse walked by and asked if everything was okay. Denise plastered on her best fake smile. "Just a family discussion." The moment she left, Denise leaned close, her voice ice cold. "You're making a mistake coming back." Lily doesn't need you confusing her. She found my letters, I said. She knows the truth. That flicker of fear in her eyes told me everything. This isn't over, she whispered. Back in Lily's room, I told her what happened. She sighed, eyes heavy with dread. They'll be back. They always come back angrier. I won't let them hurt you, I promised, even though I had no idea how I'd keep that promise. That night, I slept in the chair by her bed. My back hated me, but I wasn't leaving her alone. Around midnight, I woke to her whisper. You're still here, I smiled. Of course. I told you. I'm not going anywhere. She smiled softly, then drifted back to sleep, and I stayed awake for hours, just watching her breathe, still in disbelief that I'd finally found her again. The next morning, Dr. Stevens came by. Lily was improving. If all went well, she could be discharged the following day. My chest tightened. Discharged? But where? Amber showed up not long after. She pulled me into the hallway. I spoke with your ex-wife and Mr. Peterson. They deny everything. Of course they did. But then she added, the hospital has documented injuries inconsistent with the crash, and Mr. Peterson's blood alcohol level was over the legal limit. My pulse spiked. So what happens now? Amber adjusted her glasses. Given the circumstances, we're recommending Lily be placed in temporary alternative housing while we investigate. With me? I blurted. Amber studied me. Possibly, but there's a complication. The custody case from 10 years ago is still on file. False accusations or not, I have to follow protocol. Panic rose in my chest. They lied. Russell admitted it. He said it to my face. Amber's voice was calm, but firm. I understand, but until it's reviewed, I can't promise anything. I begged her. Please. She wants to be with me. She put me as her contact. She found my letters. She knows. Amber thought for a moment. I'll make some calls. There might be a way to place her with you temporarily while the investigation continues. Hours later, she returned with the news. Lily could come home with me. For now. Background checks and home assessments would follow, but the immediate danger was too real to ignore. When I told Lily, her whole face lit up. For the first time in years, she looked like a kid again, like she actually had hope. But of course, Russell wasn't done. He filed a police report against me, claiming I was manipulating Lily, coaching her to make false allegations. The same script he'd run a decade ago. An officer even came to question me. I explained everything, but I could tell. They were keeping it neutral, waiting for evidence. The difference this time? We had it. Bruises, blood tests, medical reports. And Lily wasn't a scared little girl anymore. She was 16, and she was speaking for herself. The next morning, Lily was officially cleared to leave. A nurse brought a wheelchair, standard procedure, and I helped gather her things. Ready to go home? I asked. She smiled. Home. That sounds nice. But just as we reached the exit, there they were. Denise and Russell waiting like predators. Lily's hand gripped mine tight. Don't let them take me. I won't, I said, pushing forward. Denise blocked the path. Where do you think you're going with our daughter? She's being discharged into my care, I said, my voice steel. CPS approved it. Russell's face went red. Like hell they did. She's coming home with us. Security stepped in, thank God. I showed the paperwork Amber had given me. The guard read it, nodded, then looked at them. Everything checks out. You need to step aside. Denise hissed, voice low and venomous. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. I wheeled Lily out into the sunlight, my chest pounding. For the first time in 10 years, I was taking my daughter home. And I knew the real fight was only just beginning. Once we pulled away from the hospital and hit the open road, I finally saw Lily exhale. She slumped against the seat, whispering, I can't believe that worked. They always get their way. I gripped the wheel tighter. Not this time, but they were right about one thing. This isn't over. Relief and anxiety wrestled inside me the entire drive. First stop was the hotel. I grabbed my bag, checked us out, then pointed the car toward my apartment. 5 hours away, across state lines. Lily was quiet for most of the drive, her gaze fixed on the trees flashing past. Every so often, she'd break the silence with a small question. Will I have to change schools? She asked as we crossed into my state. Probably, I admitted. We'll figure it out. Maybe finish the year online, then decide next year. She just shrugged. That's okay. I didn't really have many friends anyway. Just Emma. You can still keep in touch with Emma, I assured her. And you'll make new friends here. Promise. By the time we reached my apartment, it was early evening. Not fancy, just a mid-rise in a safe neighborhood, but to me it was stability. I carried Lily's small hospital bag while she looked around curiously. This is it, I said, unlocking the door. Not much, but it's home. And there's a room here that's all yours. She stepped inside, taking it all in. The worn but comfortable couch, the small kitchen, the hallway leading to the bedrooms. It wasn't impressive, but it was real. I like it, she said simply. I showed her the spare bedroom. Plain bed, a dresser, a desk, and a window that looked out over a little park. We can decorate it however you want, I said. Make it your own. Lily sat on the bed, brushing her hand over the comforter. I've never had my own room before. At home, I shared with the baby. That stopped me cold. Baby? You have a sibling? She nodded. Half-brother. Tyler. He's 3. Russell's real kid, you know? The casual way she said it shattered me. I knelt in front of her. You're my real kid. Don't ever forget that. She smiled faintly, looking exhausted. Can I lie down for a bit? I'm still sore. Of course. Rest as long as you need. I left her to sleep and wandered into the kitchen, stomach growling. My fridge was pathetic. Half a jug of milk, ketchup, and maybe a questionable yogurt. Definitely not welcome home material. I ordered pizza instead, then sat at the table trying to process the chaos of the last few days. That's when my phone rang. Amber from CPS. Mr. Carter, just checking in. Did you and Lily arrive safely? Yes, I whispered, moving away from Lily's door. We're here. There was a confrontation at the hospital, but security stepped in. Amber sighed. I was afraid of that. They've been blowing up my office all afternoon, demanding we reverse the placement. Panic flared. Can they? Not without cause, she assured me. But they've hired a lawyer. They're claiming you manipulated Lily and the hospital staff. My gut twisted. What does that mean for her? For now, nothing changes. You still have temporary custody. I'll be conducting a home visit next week. Just be prepared. They're not backing down. After we hung up, I felt the weight of what she didn't say. They'd stolen Lily from me once before. They'd try again. I couldn't let it happen. The pizza arrived and I woke Lily. She came out groggy but hungry, and we ate together at the little table. For a moment, it almost felt normal. We joked about toppings, traded favorite TV shows, shared quiet laughter. But after dinner, as she helped me clean the dishes, I realized something. She was moving carefully, almost nervously, like she wasn't sure how long she'd really be allowed here. We should make a list, I said casually. Clothes, school stuff, whatever you need. Things that'll make this place feel like home. She looked at me, eyes wide. You think I'll be here that long? I hope so, I said, voice thick. And I'm going to fight like hell to make sure of it. She nodded, but I could see the fear. The kind of fear only years of broken promises can carve into a kid. That night, after showing her the tricky shower, I called my old lawyer, Stephen. This time, he picked up. Mike? Been a while. What's this about your daughter? I told him everything. Lily's accident, Russell's abuse, CPS giving me temporary custody. He listened quietly, then let out a whistle. That's heavy. And you're certain the abuse claims are solid? Absolutely. Hospital documented the bruises. Russell was hammered when he crashed with her in the car. That helps, he said. But brace yourself. If they fought dirty 10 years ago, they'll fight dirty now. They'll wave that old custody ruling around like a weapon. My stomach clenched. But that was based on lies. Doesn't matter. Still in the record. We'd need real proof they fabricated it. I thought of Russell at the hospital, smug, bragging about keeping my letters from her. He's arrogant. He might slip up if pushed. Stephen's voice was stern. Don't do anything reckless. Let me handle the courts. File for permanent custody. Build the case with CPS and the hospital records. In the meantime, document everything. Everything. When Lily came out of the shower, her hair damp, wearing her same hospital clothes, I promised myself she'd never feel unsafe here. We sat on the couch and she leaned into me. What happens now? One day at a time, I said softly. Tomorrow, shopping. Clothes, things for your room. School can wait a little. Her voice was small. What about Mom and Russell? They won't just let me go. No, they won't, I admitted. But this time we have the truth. And the law. For the next few days, we slipped into a rhythm. Shopping trips, quiet meals, hours of just talking. She told me things that gutted me. How Russell's temper could flare over nothing. How Denise excused it. How they convinced her I was a monster who never wanted her. One evening on the balcony, watching the sunset, she confessed. I believed them for a long time, but I had these good memories that didn't fit. Like when you'd read to me at night, or when you'd let me dance on your feet. I smiled through tears. Daddy dancing. She nodded. That's why I went looking in the attic. I found the box with your letters and cards. All organized. All hidden. I clenched my fists. Control. They wanted to control the story about me. Those letters proved otherwise. Just then, the doorbell rang. I peeked through the peephole. Amber with another woman beside her. Mr. Carter, Amber said when I opened the door. Sorry for the unannounced visit. This is my supervisor, Beverly Thompson. We need to conduct a home assessment. They checked the apartment top to bottom. Bedroom, kitchen, bathroom. Asked Lily questions directly. Did she feel safe? Did she have what she needed? Lily answered without hesitation. I feel safe here. For the first time in a long time. Beverly nodded, scribbling notes. When it was over, Amber pulled me aside. Everything looks good. But I should warn you, your ex and Russell filed a formal complaint. They're demanding Lily be returned. My chest tightened. On what grounds? They claim you manipulated Lily into this. I nearly laughed from the absurdity. That's ridiculous. I know, but they've got lawyers. There'll be a hearing next week. You'll need your own lawyer present. Already handled, I said firmly. That night, as I was getting ready for bed, my phone rang. Unknown number. Normally I'd let it go, but something told me to answer. Hello, a young, nervous voice. Is this Mike? I'm Emma, Lily's friend. I blinked in surprise. Yes, is everything okay? Not really, she said. Mrs. Wilson and Mr. Peterson came to my house today. They wanted me to say Lily made everything up, but I told them the truth. That Lily showed me the bruises, that she was scared of him. I closed my eyes, relief flooding me. Thank you, Emma. That couldn't have been easy. They were furious, she added. Mr. Peterson even yelled at me. My mom kicked them out. Then her voice dropped lower. There's more. A few months ago, Lily gave me some of your letters and pictures to hide. She was scared he'd find them. I still have them. My heart pounded. Emma, those could be crucial. Would you give them to my lawyer? Of course. Lily's my best friend. I just want to help her. When I hung up, I sat on the edge of my bed, shaking. For the first time in 10 years, we had more than just our word. We had proof. And maybe, just maybe, this time the truth would finally win. The next morning, I picked up the phone and called Stephen. My voice was tight, but this time, I had hope in my chest. Emma still had the letters, I told him. The ones Lily gave her for safekeeping. She's willing to hand them over. Stephen's tone shifted immediately. That's good. That's really good. If we can show Lily discovered those letters before the accident, before she ever reconnected with you, that adds massive weight to her credibility. And if she's got pictures of bruises on top of that, even better. I hesitated. What about the hearing next week? Should Lily be there? Stephen thought for a moment. Not for the entire thing, but the judge may want to talk to her privately. We'll prepare her for that possibility. When I hung up, I found Lily in the kitchen, buttering toast like it was any other morning. She looked up at me instantly, reading my face the way only a daughter can. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong, I said, unable to hide my smile. Actually, something's finally right. Emma called me last night. Her eyes widened. She did? What did she say? I told her everything. How Emma confirmed she still had the letters. How she was ready to help. Lily nodded slowly, relief flickering across her face. I gave them to her because Russell almost caught me in the attic once, she admitted. I thought if I left the important ones at Emma's, they'd be safe. I squeezed her shoulder. That was smart. Smarter than most adults would have handled it. Those letters might be what saves us. For the first time since all this chaos began, Lily smiled. Really smiled. Not the small, cautious kind. A real one. The rest of the day was blissfully normal. I enrolled her in online classes, we picked out paint colors for her room, and we even argued playfully about whether green or purple was better. Little things, but after 10 years of stolen time, they felt revolutionary. That evening, Stephen called back. His voice carried a weight I hadn't heard before. I just spoke with Emma's mother. She's on board. She gathered every letter and photograph Lily had left with them. I'm picking them up tomorrow. And there's more. Emma's willing to give a statement. She says she personally saw Russell being aggressive with Lily. I nearly dropped the phone. That's huge. That's everything. Stephen tempered my excitement. It's strong, but don't get comfortable. Denise and Russell won't just roll over. He was right. The very next day, a process server showed up at my door with papers. Emergency custody petition. Denise and Russell were suing, accusing me of manipulating Lily, coaching her to lie, even claiming I brainwashed her over phone calls before the accident. Phone calls that never even happened. And of course, they dragged out the old custody case, waving it around like proof of my so-called violence. My hands shook as I read it. They're doing it again, I told Stephen over the phone. Just like 10 years ago, they're lying. I expected this, Stephen said calmly. Send me the paperwork. We'll respond. When I told Lily, she didn't even flinch. She just looked at me with sad, tired eyes. That's what they do. They twist everything until it looks the way they want. I hugged her tight. Not this time. This time we have evidence. This time, you're old enough to speak for yourself. The next few days were a blur. Stephen filed our response, attaching Emma's statement, the hospital affidavits, and the stack of letters and photos. We prepared for the hearing like soldiers before a battle. The night before court, Lily and I sat on the couch, a movie playing in the background. Neither of us was really watching. During a quiet moment, she whispered, "What if they win tomorrow? What if I have to go back?" I wrapped my arm around her. That's not going to happen. But even if something went wrong, I'd never stop fighting for you again. Ever. She leaned into me. I'm glad I found your letters. Me too, sweetheart, I said, blinking back tears. The next morning, the courthouse loomed in front of us like a ghost from the past. Same heavy doors, same stone steps, the place where I'd lost her once before. Stephen met us inside, calm and confident. He shook Lily's hand warmly. I've heard a lot about you. Today we set things right. Inside the courtroom, Denise and Russell sat with their lawyer, a polished woman in an expensive suit. Denise looked like she was headed to Sunday service, all demure and proper. Russell, cleaned up in a suit and tie, sat there trying to look respectable. It made me sick. Their lawyer went first, spinning the same old lies. I was violent. I'd abandoned Lily. Now, conveniently, I was manipulating her into turning against the only real family she'd known. She even had the audacity to suggest Lily's bruises were from normal teenage clumsiness. My blood boiled, but Stephen put a hand on my arm. Stay calm. Then it was his turn. He rose slowly, voice steady. Your Honor, the facts tell a different story. He laid it out like a surgeon cutting away rot. The hospital report, Russell's blood alcohol level, the documented bruises that didn't match the accident, Lily's disclosure of years of abuse. Then, piece by piece, he unveiled the evidence. The letters I'd sent, the photographs Lily had hidden, Emma's sworn statement detailing the bruises and fear she'd seen firsthand. These letters, Stephen emphasized, were found by Lily months before the accident, long before she reconnected with her father. They prove he never abandoned her. They prove she has been lied to. The judge's face stayed unreadable, but he asked to speak to Lily privately. She looked at me nervously, and I whispered, just tell the truth. The weight nearly killed me. Denise glared at me like daggers. Russell sat stone-faced, his jaw twitching. When Lily returned, her eyes were red from tears, but she walked straight back to me. The judge cleared his throat. I find the emergency petition filed by Mrs. Wilson and Mr. Peterson without merit. Temporary custody remains with Mr. Carter. Relief surged through me, but then the judge went further. Additionally, based on the evidence, I am referring this case to the district attorney for review of potential child abuse and endangerment charges against Mr. Peterson. Russell shot to his feet, face crimson. This is wrong. She's lying, manipulating everyone. The judge barked, sit down or I'll hold you in contempt. But Russell couldn't stop himself. His voice rose to a shout. You don't get it. We did what we had to do back then. He was going to take her. We couldn't let that happen. The courtroom froze. Even Russell realized too late what he'd just admitted. The judge's eyes narrowed. Are you admitting you and Mrs. Wilson fabricated evidence in the original custody case? Russell stammered, but the damage was done. Denise stared at him like she didn't even recognize the man beside her. The gavel came down. The judge ordered a full review of the old custody case and referred Russell's outburst for possible perjury charges. When it was over, Lily walked out beside me, a small, shaky smile on her face. You did it, I told her. You were so brave. I just told the truth, she whispered. Outside, Stephen clapped me on the shoulder. That couldn't have gone better. Russell gave us exactly what we needed. And he was right, because weeks later, the judge awarded me permanent custody. Denise didn't even fight it. She filed for divorce from Russell and quietly asked for supervised visitation instead. Russell, he got probation for the accident and eventually violated it. Ended up right where he belonged, out of Lily's life. Lily settled into her new world with me. We painted her room the soft green she'd picked. She joined the photography club at her new school. Emma came over often, and at night we'd cook dinner together, bumping elbows in the tiny kitchen like we'd been doing it for years. One evening, she asked me softly, "Are you still mad at Mom?" I thought about it. I was for a long time. Now I'm just sad for all the time we lost. But she's still your mom. If you want to forgive her one day, that's your choice. She nodded, thoughtful. Months later, at the dining table, I found her working on a photography project. She created a timeline, baby pictures, toddler years, elementary school. Then a massive gap followed by photos of us now. At the edge of the timeline sat my old letters and the few pictures she'd saved. It's about memory, she explained. The missing years. But see, they weren't really gone. Just hidden. I felt tears burn my eyes. My daughter had turned 10 years of pain into art, into truth. That night, she texted me from her bedroom even though she was just down the hall. Thanks for not giving up on me. I stared at it for a long time before replying. Never did. Never will.
Thanks for watching. Today's train wreck is over, but tomorrow's ride is already on track. Subscribe so you don't miss it.